the Alchemist here with one of my best friends in the universe, IllumiNate.
Hey, what's
And
up,
we're
everyone?
we're here to discuss his new song and many different things, along from our journey on our spiritual path to the music that we make and just goals and things we've been trying to achieve. And it's really an honor to have you on the podcast, bro. I know it's been years since we've actually been able to bring that concept idea to the forefront. And yeah, man, you're from your music evolution to just daily practices of different things to incorporate in your spiritual life. It's really it's just been such a blessing, man. Like, how has it been, dude? And what is going on? What's new in the music world for you?
Well, Layden, it's an honor to be on your podcast today. This is my first podcast ever being done. Just want to let your audience know that. And I've been waiting to do this podcast with you for a long time. This is the highly anticipated, critically acclaimed uh, IllumiNate the Alchemist podcast. This is going to be a next wave energy, a fresh zone, a new era. So we've got this shit going on, dude. And I've watched your podcast with so many people. I love them all the time. You got Darius on there, all your esoteric people. And I just love to watch them. And I've always wanted to be on this podcast, and I've always wanted to be on your channel. And that's why I say it's been a long time in the making, and today is finally the day where we whip that out and crank that out, and we get on page together, and we do that today. So thanks for having me on today, brother. And I guess we'll start with the Magic Corn on the Cob remix song.
Yeah, yeah, man. Like, so every year he's come out with this. I wish I would have had the little ticket thing right here, right next. But he makes this song, Magic Corn on the Cob, and he just made version 4 come out. And he don't add these little remixes to it, but it started off as just like him and I were doing voice back and forth to each other during a new era of our life on like evolving and becoming something, seeing a bigger vision on things, and just different voice clips he grabbed together and put together this hilarious song. And each version has gotten better and better, but this last version that came out, I don't know what like when I say what I love about it, it's that energetic, pulsating boom sound to it. Like, it's not just like kind of an ordination of different things. Like, this one is so dynamic, and the booming sounds that you put into it are like what I really like make me like it so much, man. And like, have you been using like different programs, or are you just layering things up differently, or like, how are these new sounds coming together? Because it does sound like something I've never heard before.
Well, to start off, I'm going to go ahead and answer your question right away, and then I'm going to dive into a little bit of the lore of Magic Corn on the Cob and give you an explanation about me as a musician and a little bit about my life. But to answer your question, why does Mark IV sound so good, and this year's Magic Corn on the Cob, why does it sound so good? And for those of you listening, you'll be able to find this song in the link below in the description, and it'll automatically link you to my channel and the song, and you can listen to this song that we're talking about. But the reason this year's song sounds so good is because I really pushed the basses, and I pushed the post-processing on all of my basses. So I really amped up the volume on my basses, and I used a lot of plugins and loudness techniques on the basses to make the basses wide in the stereo field and to really give them an industry standard loudness with the oomph. And that's something I really wasn't able to capture in the earlier versions of Corn on the Cob. In the last couple of years, I've really nailed my industry standard loudness with my LUF meters. So it's been great. And that's why it sounds that good this year, because the loudness and the I've been studying music, and I've been listening to music and what people say, or how they make their songs and the way it sounds. So when I listen to music analytically, I can hear basses and I can hear instruments and sounds. And a lot of the things with the dubstep is their sounds are just loud and the basses are just cranked up. So that's what I really took inspiration from. And I was listening to a lot of dubstep and I was listening to a lot of music. And I was just like, why is this song good? It's like, okay, they just cranked it. They just cranked their stuff loud. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do that on my basses. We're just going to crank the basses. So that's what I did with this year's. Yeah.
It's loud. I'll say, like, when I'm listening to stuff in my car, your song is almost like twice as loud as the actual, like, all the other songs. Just because you changed the formatting of all that and, like, push things to the limit, and it makes it so it bops really hard. And I can't wait to get subs because that's gonna be a go around party. It was like a Lost Land energy, like for real. Like it's like a lightning boom on some of the stuff, and plus the breakdown.
I love it. It's like a wall. It's like a wall of sound, and then the wall becomes a wave. It's like a wow, 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 and it's like I like to make music that's healing. Some of the rhythm songs, there's a rhythm type of sound, and then there's a dubstep sound, and like this year's was kind of a little bit more rhythm, but it's kind of a hybrid. But rhythm, it just has the same sound over and over and over again, and that's what I think this year's was kind of like with the bass wall. But dude, yeah, the reason that it sounds that loud is because you're probably playing it like a wave file off of your phone in your car. So that's why it's probably that loud.
Okay, never mind. That's exactly what's going on. That's exactly it. What's up? Get into the lore because you're getting ready to do that. Have people into the corn.
All right. I'll explain it a little bit. For those of you who may not know me or know my story, I've been a traveling monk for the last 6, 7, 8 years of my life. Around 2016, I was traveling with a church and I was a monk, living the life of a monk. And then right around there in the year 2020, I got my first apartment in the town of Medellin Falls, Washington, which is a town 15 minutes from the Canadian border. It's a very, very small town. And I was living in this building called the POA building, and it was this really ancient, old-time building. It was an apartment building. And anyways, after being a traveling monk and traveling with the church, I wound up in Medellin Falls, Washington. And I got my first apartment there, and this was 2020. So I got my first place ever all to myself, living in this old building. And what I decided to do with my time is study music. And dubstep and electronic dance music has always been a passion of mine. When I was a teenager, I used to go to raves in Indianapolis. I saw Skrillex as my first concert ever and my first rave ever at the Old National Center in Indianapolis. And that really changed my life. And then we would go see Excision. Me and my friends would go see Excision in Indy. So bass music and electronic dance music has always been a huge part of my journey and my life, and I love it. I used to go to Sweetwater. Me and Leighton used to both work at Sweetwater. So when I was driving to Sweetwater, I would just be blasting Excision and banging dubstep all the way there, 12 Planet, all the way to work early in the morning, just blasting dubstep. So anyways, when I wound up in Medellin Falls in 2020, I started to make music and I started to study music. And it took me about 3 months to really learn FL Studio, the program, and then learn a little bit of music theory. And I get this message from Leighton. And me and him had been hanging out a little bit more in our later years. We were friends in high school and we were good friends in drama class, but we really didn't hang out that much after school or anything. But that was in high school. So in 2020, we started to hang out more because we started to become more friends once we noticed that we're kind of on a parallel spiritual trajectory. And we both kind of noticed something in our lives, like we have our friends and then we have our spiritual friends. And Leighton and I really synergize with each other spiritually. And we kind of noticed that we kind of align with each other spiritually and our goals and our motives and kind of how we understand things. So I started to hang out with Leighton a little bit more at that time. And I was living in Washington, and he sent me this message. And it was something that he always said at the time. And he was like, it's going to be corn on the cob, like when we hang out. Like we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and then it's gonna be corn on the cob. Like it's gonna be good. It's gonna be all good. It's gonna be all gravy. And he sent me this message in the Facebook Messenger, and I was just like, that would make a great idea for a song. Like the whole phrase, magic corn on the cob. And then I like to give people messages in my music. I like to show them things. I often attribute it to like a Renaissance painting, to where people's consciousness is automatically upgraded just by hearing the song or seeing the art or anything. So part of the magic of Magic Corn on the Cob is it's CRNTHB. So that's the magic code for corn on the cob. And then I put magic CRNTHB. So it's magic corn on the cob. And this whole idea of a song just came to me from that message and from the code. I just wanted to show people what a magical code was, really. So that's where we get the CRNTHB is. And I'll tell you what the codes stand for. It stands for corn on the cob. Like, that's what it is, period. Like, people may have their ideas. People may have their ideas, but that is what the code stands for, period.
Well, that's the thing. You add the esotericness to your music. It's a hybrid. You're pushing things. I mean, that's what, once again, like you said, like we're on a very similar path because we understand like just hidden truths on stuff. So why would we not in our music also be giving different rudimentary truths? And one of yours is literally how magic code is, making your own sigil and being able to make a magic code just out of words, and understanding that you're already in and of itself giving a certain code. Then the energy of the actual song, especially this fourth one, how much of a frequency shift it can put you in. Like, it really gets me turned up, dude. Like, it's not even just because I hear the call, but it's like it literally like has drops, comes in, it hits and stuff, man. And that was just one thing, like understanding why you make certain songs, because it's not just that. If you guys check out his channel, you'll see all his other dubstep songs. I know he's making a ton more. And and how my music is, like, there's a story behind it. There's actually a spiritual essence to it. It's not just music. I don't know who it was that made this quote, but I love this quote so much. It's like, you actually hear the spirit in the music. It's not just a voice. And like actually projecting that. And you can feel that. And whether it's in the code of you programming a rhythmic algorithm of stuff to make a bit from beat drops, or what your voice is saying in the song over and over again, it does make a change in you. And yeah, man, like meeting you and going through those type of things, man, and seeing, the one of the craziest experiences I had doing a ritual was with IllumiNate. When we're out, we get these candles and we put them, like it's winter time, but like there's no snow or anything, but we go and we light them. And then we go stand on a bridge to get like a higher angle of this fire down below. And as we get on this bridge, it's just like the perfect of snowflakes of crystal. It was like seeing a reality of DMT, only sober, like right in front of us with the candle and that whole experience. And it was about the sigil that we made about during that time period, about just like all the different goals and things we were wanting to accumulate and pull off. And I know next year, 222 on the clock, There's
So
already things set up that's
I'll give you
already like,
I'll give you my take on the story if you want to hear that one.
yeah, do it.
So this is a place in Fort Wayne, and it's called Lovelock Bridge. And I've done so many things on this bridge. I've tossed things off this bridge. I've tossed my hair off this bridge, and it's one of the three rivers. And it just so happens that the bridge is called Lovelock Bridge. It just makes sense to me. I've put so much love into the stuff I do on this bridge. Anywho, this was a different year. This had to be in 2020, 2021, and I'll just tell you briefly. Me and El the Alchemist were doing some magic down by the river in the banks, and we were writing out goals, and it had to do with music, and it had to do with reaching a wider audience. And we wrote a bunch of stuff down, and we said some things together in unison, and we lined up some candles. And I'm not kidding. As he just told you, as soon as we lit those candles, as soon as the flame caught the candle, there was snow at the top of the sky. As soon as we lit it, it's like it turned on the snow and then it came down. And it wasn't just a regular type of snow. The only way I can describe it is it was like me and Leighton's realities were like cross-referenced, and like the snow was the nexus point in between them, dude.
Yeah.
And it was like falling between us, and it was like our shared vision, like solidifying. Like it happened, it could be a lot of things. Part of it could be me explaining it here now. and
Yeah.
then it's going back in time, and it's working that way. So we have a lot to share with you about magic and how we understand things. And that's what I'm saying about me and Leighton. Like, we have so many great magical discussions. And this particular podcast has been a long time in the making, because I do feel like me and Leighton are going to be working together in the future on a lot of different creative projects and a lot of different magical outcomes. So just wanted to reference that and give you my take on it. But it was magical for me. That was one of my top 3 most magical, like, what the F moments. Like, it just boggling, like the whole way it happened. And then the last thing I'll say about it is, if you go to my YouTube channel and if you look at CRNTHB VIP Mark II, at the end of that video, there's a picture of me and Leighton, and it's on that bridge. And in the background, you will see the light of the candles burning.
No way,
Yeah, dude. Remember the picture? I took a picture of us. I've got my pyramid hat on, and I specifically lined up the camera. It's me and you, and then like in the background, there's a light, and that light is the candles burning on the beach, and we're up on the bridge.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that I might have to make that our picture, our thumbnail picture
Okay,
for this.
that's fine. If you want to find it again, it's in Mark II, but I'll send it to you. We'll put it in this video at the end, or anything in the credits. We'll make it whatever. But
dude, so like, all right, I want to tell a story. I'm not going to use any names, but a crazy experience I had with Nathan that was like beyond spiritual. This is about 2019. And I was going through a lot of things at the time, but there was this business I was involved in, and it was working out all right and helped me out with different fronts. But I felt like there was a lot of like treachery and like nasty spiritual stuff going on in the background, and just like one of the people was a little like way more shady. Like I felt a way about him, but like I was like, I don't know. And I hadn't heard from Nathan for like, I don't know, years. I think it was 5, 6 years. But
no, dude, that
um,
happened before I left for Mount Shasta. That happened while we were
it,
in high school. I think it did.
no, no, no.
Dude,
I'm
it
talking.
didn't happen after I came back from Mount Shasta. It happened before I left. So it was pre-2014.
Oh, all I can say is for certain that meeting in 2019 when you came back, when after all that had transpired, and I had been, it was crazy because and there was a lot of information, especially about Lucifer. Right before you left, you said the way people see Lucifer is completely different. Like you have to see it through a different eye. And during that time, that's when I was going through my transition from Christianity to an alchemist. That's what I'm going to call it.
So this is
And
what I actually said. I remember you telling me this, and I said to you, I was like, if you knew the true purpose of Lucifer, you wouldn't be afraid of him.
dang,
That's what I
yeah,
said.
yeah, that is what you, dude. And that's what I'm saying. It was like I finally understood what you meant by that. And I was like, dude, there's one person I could talk to because I knew some other people, but like it was just like if I only I could talk to him. And I had that thought, and then the next day, my brother saying to me, dude, did you see he's back online? And then you come back, showing up in town, and at a place where I was at, we were both able to see metaphorically in front of us this person who said that they could put any mask on, their seat break under from underneath them, like literally like a line, the whole thing. And it was such a magical like moment that was so surreal that all
What
the
a
pieces have
twist.
come aligned. Yeah, what a twister, breaking how did the seat break? After he says that, dude, like that is literally from metaphysical to physical reality all at once. And just like the craziness behind seeing synchronicities like that, and also being able to know people who also can see those synchronicities, and because it's just like a magical sight, and being able to talk with other people who have that, it's really refreshing because some people might think, oh, the omens, they don't understand because they don't understand because they've not, experienced, or if they have experienced, they're taking the whole interpretation as something negative, but like really bringing forth that magical lifestyle, man, making your whole entire life invigorated with just living in a magical world, like birds being messengers, like I love seeing geese. I don't really care. I know people are like, what's about geese, dude? They make me laugh. Like, dude, that puts me in an up spirit. Like it's just like, look at it, dude. Are you kidding me? But just living that lifestyle of those different moments, man, and man, all the just there's just been so many different layered ones that have just been profound. And even the last time you were in town when we were walking by that light, and as we're walking up to this light, it's off, it gets brighter and brighter and brighter, and it is right above us. As we walk away, it turns off, dude. Like that
I mean,
was
it's funny. It's like you're saying this, but like it did happen. Like I can't describe to you what the fuck happened there. Like we were walking down the sidewalk in a different state in a different state of mind, and as we were getting closer to the light post, it started to get brighter and brighter. And then when we walked past it, it started to get dimmer and dimmer. I mean, how does this shit happen? I don't know. It just kind of like at a certain point things just happen and you have to just roll with it. Like you can't get caught up about the light going brighter. And shit. I mean,
yeah,
it did
yeah.
happen. I mean, look at him. He knows it happened.
you,
I
you,
mean,
you might have had it been there, but it did happen.
yeah.
That's the thing, man. Like, there's certain you've been doing like rituals and seeing the outcome of them, and also seeing like how sometimes things from the timing of it all really help you grow in the length and seeing the depth of that working. All these small like little pieces that are so intricate, like when you finally get the long term vision, the bigger vision of it all, like you really see that life is divine. We have a sovereignty in it. We also have our own willpower to help kind of push us in the direction we want to go and stay on that. Not to say I can control everything that happens every single day. Sometimes life is what life is, but having a stronger forefront with it. And I think, especially in just being out in the public and stuff, just knowing about your own protections, as well as just understanding, like when you're doing any spiritual working. Like at the last haunted event, the video footage will be out soon. I might actually be going back there to the haunted mansion that we shot the music video at too, because what I'm noticing is, and I just feel like it's because I do like work with spirits and stuff. The spirits seem to leave wherever I'm at, and everyone else, wherever they were at in the mansion, there's activity, and then I would go, and then it would be like no activity, and like when you're being watched, like you'd know that shit for sure. And like there's a lot of places where I feel like I was watched, but like there's no problem at all. There's nothing crazy. I mean, I remember that one time where you were over at my house and we both felt that thing in the other room, and like I was like, all right, I'm gonna start ripping up into this thing. You're like, dude, like it's like nothing. Like it's like a little like nose spirit, like a grass spirit or something. Just like you're about to go in there and like call forth all these beings and destroy it. It's like, holy crap.
Leighton was about to assemble the team, and then like I was like, I don't know, like, and then like we started to walk into different rooms, like because we felt something was over there, and then we're like, okay, we got to walk over here now. And it's funny that you were saying that about the nothing was around you. It's because your high spiritual force, it just kind of like it shoots out and they run away. So wherever you were going, everything was running away. And I'll just tell you a quick story. When I was living in that apartment building, the room that I lived in, people said there was a witch that lived in there. And the guy who lived in the room before I did went crazy. He was a Marine, and he ran out of the building, and he left all his shit there, and he never came back. The apartment manager lady felt like she was choked in the room. And then I get in there, and there was no problem. I had no problem at all. And then like I didn't even flinch. There was nothing. They didn't get to me at all. Absolutely nothing. And what was really interesting is I felt other people getting angry the night I moved in. It was almost like whatever was in that room ran out of my room because they couldn't handle my energy. I was the dominant force in that room now, and they're not allowed to stay. And they ran out of my room, and I could hear other people getting angry, upset in different rooms. But anybody who's spiritually awakened, they know what I'm talking about, and they can definitely understand what I'm saying. And that's my brief little story. It's what reminded me when you said that about your ghost show experience.
Hey, you know what? Actually, like, you were in 3 of my episodes, and what I really noticed, besides the forest with the girl saying right behind you, like that was like totally felt that. Like that was really intense. He's rolling his eyes.
I didn't feel that at all. I thought the ghost talks. I mean, I could give you my thoughts on it, but I don't want to like, for me, I was hearing like Reiny, Heiny or something. It was like Heiny, like I was like Heiny, and then like Leighton's like right behind you, and then I'm like, it was funny, dude.
Honestly, so even the new box I actually got one of the professional ones. Everywhere I was going, it did nothing, dude. The other people took it on their side of the house. Was like, dude, it's getting some of the craziest stuff. I'm like, bro, dude, what's going on? And so the only times I ever got anything, every time I would say a question, and I'd be like, is there any ghosts here? Yes, sir. Or like, what's going on? Nothing. Are you and like it would be question after question and it would be nothing. I'm like, do you want me to stop like talking to you guys right now? Yes, sir. That's it. Like that's I was being called sir in different rooms of the house. That was the only thing I got. I was like, dude, like what is going on? Like I've never had something that bizarre. So that's why I want to go back again. And plus, like I would like to have had more time. I could have had more time, but yeah, it was really a cool experience. But even the places like, we went to the forest, we went to that tunnel. The people that walked in the tunnel might have been an apparition. That was kind of weird, but probably not. Like, that's debunked, but it could have been. It could have been. But I
Well,
haven't really felt anything weird.
what Leighton is talking about is during the haunted tunnel episode, we had the episode, and right when we got done shooting, two gentlemen, they looked like teenage boys or young boys, more like teenagers, but two boys came down the tunnel as we were shooting the video episode. And they were like, they told us, well, first off, they told us they never heard about the rumor of the tunnel guy and the hellhounds. You know what I mean? But they told us they never heard of that. And then they told us that there was a haunted like house in New Haven, or there was an abandoned house that they broke into. They didn't break into it, but they went there and someone else was like squatting there or something, and then like they moved the person's shit, and then they heard the person. I don't know. They told us something, but
They
then
found a
after
book.
what
They
they
found
say?
a book that had some scary,
Oh
like,
yeah,
evil script in it.
yeah.
That's why we were like, oh wow, we need to find this place. That's
They
exactly what it was.
they found some meth head crack addict's journal, and it was all demonic scribbling, and they got shook. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, like that's what was bizarre. Like, we're shooting a ghost episode in this tunnel, and just so happens people show up. Like, I've never heard of this at all, but down the street over there, it's like that's television. It was a television set, and sometimes I forget you just gotta keep the camera rolling, and that's what I've learned
Yeah, yeah.
actually.
It would have been. I can't describe to you guys how amazing it would have been to actually capture those two gentlemen's voices and like the way they were like really serious about what they were saying. And it would have been great footage. But we did ask them after that if they wanted to be in a video, and they said no. But if we would have kind of just took the camera and just kind of like kept it rolling and not got their face or anything and got the audio, that would have
Yeah.
been grade A. But later, after the event, me and Layden were kind of thinking, we were like, were those spirits? Because he just
Yeah.
summoned the angels. You know what I mean? No,
Yeah,
you know what I
dude,
mean?
yeah,
We
dude.
don't know. So
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's every single one of our things we didn't know. Like, and one of the things on our first, like that Rancor experience, or like I put the Rancor in front of my car 10 feet, and then we get back to the car, and then it's hands on the freaking car. Like, dude, like that was honestly bizarre. I wish I would have had that on the camera, but I was more concerned with where's my pistol. Like, that was where it was at. Like, that could have been a ghost that moved that, but like,
dude,
also,
honestly, on the way home after that happened, and I was just in the passenger seat tagging along, and we were driving home down the road after the event, I was just like, I was in disbelief. I was just like, I can't even believe that just happened. We need to get out of here. And then like,
yeah, like, can we get out of here? Did they
yeah,
did they mess with the car? Like, that's
yeah,
where I
like,
was. I was like, dude, like, is this some like hillbilly crazy stuff about to go down? Hills have eyes. Because
oh,
at that time I couldn't even run. That was the
yeah,
point. That was the
yeah.
thing. I felt I was
Bootstrap
bootstrapped.
Bill.
You are a liar, dude. Like,
But dude,
that
yeah,
was
we were going down the dirt road, and it was kind of like, are we even going to be able to get onto the main road? I don't know.
like, honestly, that was the most terrifying ghost episode yet. That was something that didn't get caught on camera, or the sound of a boat coming up on the shore, and then we were like, "Oh, let's go see who showed up on the boat," and then there's no one there. I mean, that was pretty weird too.
Well, I have
Uh,
a question for you, Leighton,
yeah.
just to keep the ball rolling. Um, what was it like for you to play Yu-Gi-Oh with me and to expand your deck and to enter the Yugi-verse? And what was that all like? And what do you love about it? And like, how did it feel dueling me and going to the
Oh,
Shadow Realm?
Okay. Like, what I'm gonna say, man, grew up, the little kid, I like Pokemon cards, and then I even got into these Marvel cards, like the superheroes, and then I started getting serious Dragon Ball Z cards and going to tournaments. And I found that to be so fun with neighborhood kids and all that stuff, like doing that. And just like as a kid, like that was just one of the things that was really fun, like being really into it, or Magic the Gathering, whatever it was, card game. And then when you show up, you're like, we're talking about all this magical stuff, and you're showing me these magical cards. Or, dude, take a look at this Yu-Gi-Oh card, and look at this. This is a magical symbol. Look at these occult symbols in this whole stuff. And then all of a sudden, I'm starting to see Yu-Gi-Oh completely different. Like instead of seeing it like just like this card game, like animation, like you're watching it, and you're like making your own deck or whatever, and like you're seeing these different designs. Like there is so much that gets put into your subconscious because of it. And for example, one of my favorite spirits, everyone knows I love talking about Lugala Beta Burr. Hail Lugala Beta Burr. Like this is a card that I got specifically for him. That is a Yu-Gi-Oh card, and being able to use that on an altar. And he came into town, and I remember I didn't even have a deck. I just found like one of my brother's old decks. I started doing that, and we were playing that. Dude, it felt like when you're a kid and you get like a new video game, and then you start playing it and all that, and it was like, oh my gosh, like it was like really addicting and fun to hop into, dude. Like the excitement of that, like as being a kid, and I'm sitting there drawing, like sitting cross-legged in the living room, like on the ground, like, and then you have paper writing on life points, like it was so fun, man. And like that is something like when you come into town, it's not only like we're doing music. We'll go do some workouts. We do meditations, qigong. We do it all. We're doing magic court on the cob. And one of the other things is throw some Yu-Gi-Oh matches together and like just enjoying seeing what happens. And it's honestly super corny. Like
Yeah.
it's such a fun time, and it just kind of re-sparked being able to have fun playing cards. Like you're the only person I'm able to play the game with. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Exactly. And you showed me a card. I'll show you a card. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, dude! How does he have that? Like right in his like pocket? Like he's just carrying around all the pieces of Exodia in his pocket, dude. Like we're talking to the real Yugi right here, everyone. Like, oh my, oh my gosh, that's what
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It happened.
Obliterate. Oh,
Ah,
but
dude,
I
that
can't
is
believe it. There
true.
is something magical to Yu-Gi-Oh! Like there is magic in the cards. And I started to play a lot of Duel Links, and it's just amazing. They have, emergency teleportation device, burial from a different dimension. There is some secret occult stuff, and it's like high level. And until you get into the game, and until you find out for yourself, you'll just never know until you play the game. But thanks
There
for
was
getting into
a
that.
there was you and I did with Wadjet. And some people see her also as Duchess Boone from the Goetia. I did. And the cards, dude, just like using those cards in our ritual and my little gold piece and all those things, like really big thing that you helped show me and everyone like who's practices magic, like some great things to do. And this might sound like some one-on-one stuff, but it's very helpful. Decoding a magic code and then engraving that on a candle. And after doing that, anointing the candle, whether that's like with rose oil, lavender, frankincense, whatever it is that you feel is right. And then maybe a certain salt, black salt, sea salt, Himalayan pink salt. Roll it in that, or cinnamon, whatever it is. Having that candle me having a specific meaning. And so, and then also I would say throw it on the radionics box and supercharge it, because we're going for A+ here. And
S rank.
itself adds,
S. Victory.
dude, I'm almost about to whip out the Wajek candle. Like, it's right over there. But like, really putting that time and effort into your actual magical pieces you're using in ritual, it like makes a ritual that much more powerful. And even though it might add an extra 35 minutes, dude, that's that much more energy and time into it. And magic isn't just about give the receipt or whatever. There's also like a aspect of the art of it, the art on how you do it and perform it, and being able to really release that desire. You know what I'm saying? And so putting in that extra effort really helps you be able to feel like I did everything I could in my power. And even like back in 2020, you introducing me deeper to the planetary hours and doing things in the certain hour too. Like, it's just another layer to the cake to be able to make sure that you can really boom make that stuff happen and roll off, man. And
It's all there. We were chilling at Layton's house, traveling dimensions, and dude, we just got the carved candle. We got the candle carved. We got the salt. Layton's about to show you the candle. I think he is.
I think I'm going to.
So we got the Wajek candle. And if I could jump up and get her, I would, but she'll show herself when she's ready. But anyways, we're just chilling. We got a picture of Wajek. We got a Wajek candle with salt and cinnamon. It's carved up. It's lit. We got the magical code. And we're just vibing. And it's just going. And it's just so peaceful. And there's no light in the building except for the candle light.
Yeah.
Just amazing feeling. And
that's
what Layton was talking about the magical code and everything, like putting your intention into every act that you do, putting the magical code into the candle, and just having that awareness that like this is real, and that your vibration goes out and it manifests and stuff like that. It's an amazing feeling. It's a very special feeling for magicians, and it's just amazing. That's when I bring it back to like me and Layton are on that level, and we understand these things, and that's why we vibe together and we hang out, because we can be ourselves and we can get things done and we can work for that higher potential.
Intention, a beautiful thing you just brought up is intention. And I think like when you're, whether it's working at a job with someone or even a family member or whatever the case is, like for your day, when you have an intent to like get certain goals done, as well as like be at the right place at the right time and really enter that flow of the day instead of fighting the day, enter the flow of the day. And people who understand that concept, to like where I'm not saying necessarily pray, but in the morning I'll put my intent for the day. My favorite way for doing the intent of the day is my radionics box on my main altar over here. Like that's my favorite way that for me to put my intent for the day, to go through the day. And I just want to say every time like we're hanging out, we always put that intent into our day and then just start executing all those parts of it. And from getting the meditation right to an energy practice right to dialing in exactly what we need to get done and make that happen. And it's an easier way for a flow. Like it's always the green lights, you know what I'm saying? Like that light turned red and then I'm like, it's gotta go green, and then it goes green.
Okay, you're talking about that. Okay, one time me and Layton pulled up to a red light and everyone else was waiting, and it was supposed to be red for us, and then it turned green again. Do you remember that?
No, it literally was green at the distance, and as we're pulling up to the light, it goes yellow, and then went red, and then 1 second later went green again, dude.
Yeah, like everyone else was waiting for their turn, and then it was our turn again, and we just went straight through. Like, okay, thanks.
And I
Like,
called that too. I said, "Watch this. This is because they're gonna be green." And then the thing did that, and it turned green, dude. That right there is the probability of that happening, or is like, I don't even know what that percent is, dude. Oh my gosh, even so, we were talking about I don't know if we're gonna say his name. Well, who cares? No one's gonna know. Ethan. We were talking about this guy named Ethan. While me and Nathan are on a walk, and actually the day before we were talking about him. As we drove by this whole gas station, we knew this guy worked out a long time ago. And so like we were talking about him for like a while, like, oh man, I remember this, remember that, because we both like had like these different memories and stuff. And the next day when we're walking, just through an addition, there's a truck that pulls up, and it's him. And he gets, hey guys, what's going on? Someone we've not seen for years. Like, and just for that moment, the fact that we just talked about him that day before, and then that occurred, like, that is what I mean when things are corny. Like, really, things are so aligned and divine for your path, where you're wanting to go, and also realizing like there is like outside influences in your reality, whether that's a spirit you want to call to help you forth, whether that's your ancestors, whether that's your higher self, whether that's whatever it may be for you. Like, that is a huge aspect to just understanding, like, with your intent, you can help build your reality outwardly. And I've always appreciated that. You know, every time we're going to go do stuff, we have an intent behind it too, and it just really adds those extra layers and effects to it.
you're talking about extra layers, extra effects, and you mentioned planetary hours. I just feel like saying this. I feel like someone needs to hear this, but I really got into planetary hours from this documentary. It's called Soul Travelers. And before I went to Mount Shasta on my pilgrimage, and I might explain my pilgrimage later, maybe in a different episode, but I was watching all these spiritual things and I found this documentary. I'll say it one more time. It's called Soul Travelers. You can find it on YouTube. It's a 5-hour documentary. But in that, there's a section on magic, and he talks about planetary hours and how you can supercharge certain things with the planetary hour of the day. So, like, let's say today is Sunday, and it's a perfect day to do a podcast because the sun brings light to things. It brings consciousness. We actually started this podcast recording in the hour of the sun on a Sunday. So it has those solar energies. And the reason this is important is because whatever working you're doing, you want to go with the flow of the energy. So with different planetary days and their different planetary energies are for your workings. So I'll just wrap it up with this. I've checked the planetary hours every day, probably for at least a year straight, if not 2 or 3 years straight. I'm checking the planetary hours every day. I'll wake up and I'll go to my computer and I almost have it memorized because depending on what day it is, like today is Sunday. So when the sun breaks at dawn on that day, if it's a Sunday, it's going to be the hour of the sun. Then at noon, usually around 1:30 or 2, depending on where you're at. For me in Washington, today at 1:30, it was the hour of the sun. So I'm really tuned into those planetary hours. And I've also philosophized on how far it actually goes. And a lot of it is your own subconscious ties to it. So by knowing that you're in the planetary hour and that you're in that flavor of energy, that's a little boost for your own mind to be aware of, okay, I'm working in the hour of the sun on a Sunday, or I want to do a thing for greater wealth. That would be like a Thursday thing because Jupiter makes things bigger. So whatever you're doing, checking the planetary hours is a great way to flavor your magic and to get you in the mindset. And the easiest way to do that is to go to planetaryhours.net, and it has a bar to put in your location, and you can check the planetary hours every day where you're at and get your own magical flavorings for that.
Thank you for sharing that, and we will soon be sponsored. I'm just kidding, not really though.
I have no affiliation with this company. I just go about how the product makes me feel. It's not a product.
No. Well, it can make a greater product. It compounds. There's a compound building with it.
Yeah. And then you stimulate that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Dude, I woke up today. I was so hyped for this podcast. I did my morning yoga. I did my Wim Hof, and then I did my Qigong, dude. That's my main 3. And for me, that's a full hour of body exercises, spiritual exercises. I checked off every box, and when I do that, I feel like I'm ready. And that's another thing that me and Leighton do when we hang out. I'll usually be hanging out at his house, waiting, maybe playing a little bit of Duel Links, and then he'll be sleeping, and then we'll wake up, and then we'll do Qigong together to get that energy stimulated, to get that auric magnetism flowing. And then we'll do the Qigong, and then we'll hit it off with a Wim Hof. And if you don't know what the Wim Hof is, it's a breathing practice where you oxygenate your body, and then you hold your breath, and then you can also get a DMT release from this. And I'm just going to share with you briefly. It usually takes, for me, I have to go through 5 sessions to get a good DMT ringing. So the video is 3 Wim Hofs, but on the I usually go back to the second one and I do 5, and on that 5th one, I usually get a DMT ringing in my head, and it's a whole stimulation and a whole clearing. And this is just the flow, guys. We go through these practices, it activates our energy bodies, and it gives us the magnetism we need to do our workings and to bring a greater awareness, to bring us a greater awareness with that energy practice.
And that's when it comes down to it, like, to get yourself in a good mind state, doing things such as that, sitting down also in silence, or whatever type of ambient beat in the background, just like sitting there for meditation, or going on a run, going to the gym. To me, I find all these things ways like of opening up your energy gates and also letting you feel that authentic you. Because if you're also not eating for the health of your body and not taking any specific supplements that your body might be lacking of, just by the general diet of the American consumption and all that stuff, it's really hard for you to get into that rhythm and flow. So by doing all these other things, you're able to help facilitate, that movement, getting rid of that stagnation. So you can build up that energy, and then also give you projection towards the things you're trying to do, and make you feel like you have energy, not feeling like you have to drink a whole cup of, like a whole pot of coffee. But sometimes that works, sometimes that's fun to do. It's just like, here we go. But really getting that invigoration from prana, just energy centers of yourself opening up, and then being able to then execute your goals, be feeling in a good energy. And if you go out into the public, like, you're going to have a more brighter aura, so you're going to deflect anything negative. And if you're trying to pull anything in, you'll be able to already have that magnetism to do such. And they're just, everything compounds. And I think that's really like one of the biggest things about our conversation here today, is what you can do to help build and compound things. And it's even like every single year, how much more we have accomplished, it's compounding to what's coming out to the next year. And, it'll probably be a little bit after the beginning of the year, there'll be a great announcement for something that's going to be coming forth that you and I are going to be doing, and all these other things that are coming about, man. But I know it's been after an hour or so, and I honestly definitely want to have you back on again. I know there's so much more that, like, we weren't even able to hop into, like talking about religion. or anything along those lines, or we could talk about nanobots, nanotechnology, the different ways of getting things out of your system. So we'll definitely have to get something else. But yeah, after an hour, it's just the better way for the algorithm for YouTube and stuff, because the things get too long, it gets a little intimidating and stuff. So,
I
but
agree.
yeah, man, dude, seriously, thank you so much for coming on, bro. Like this has really been fun for me, man. Just like it really feels like we're saying a conversation. Like every time we've like just like called up, we end up in a long conversation, and it's like, dude, like that could have been a podcast right there, dude. So I actually had the intent of having this conversation, and everyone who hasn't already heard any of his music or started following him, please do like and subscribe to his channel. Like he is an excellent friend. I trust him with so much, and I'm so excited for all the things we're going to be doing here in the future and what we're doing right now.
Yeah, Layden, and I have to thank you so much for having me on. It's been a long time coming, and we're gonna have a great flow with these episodes. We're gonna have much more episodes. I feel like this was a great first episode to get acquainted with your audience and to really start a rapport with that. And we're gonna have a lot more topics, like Leighton said. We're gonna have spiritual philosophy, scientific methodology, all sorts of stuff. We might get into more music, but yeah, everyone, we have a lot of great stuff on the way, and it is all on its way. So thanks for having me. And once again, if you want to check out my channel, it's going to be linked in the comments or in the description down below. So, El the Alchemist,
Uh,
thank you so much. I can't express to you how much this means to me and how much fun it always is to just to hang out with you and to be with you and to live this life and to fill this destiny. So thank you, brother. And until next time, dude.
Till next
Namaste.
time. Namaste. That means the
Namago.
spirit of peace means within me honors the spirit within you.
You know,
Oh!